take a look at Denny Neagle coming in from the bullpen. But earlier this season, a 4-game series here at Busch Stadium, the two clubs splitting that set. Pirates winning 2 and the Cardinals winning 2.
You remember that series, Greg? All the attention was on the eventual, finally the matchup between Jim Leyland and Tony La Russa, the good friends who are finally going to wind up managing against each other. And 2 out of 2, I guess not too much determined that particular series. But the Bucs and the Cardinals are going to be hooking it up on a substantial basis. As we mentioned before, 7 out of the next 10 games against St. Louis. Take a look at the first series, because the Pirates had a loss, then a win, and a loss, then a win. And interestingly, the team that first scored and the team that scored in the first inning went on to win. Now, one thing you have to look at with the Pittsburgh Pirates, they have given up more runs in the first inning than any other inning. So if the Bucs get by the first inning, chances are they're going to have a chance to have a fair degree of success.
So again, Alan Bennis winning that first one, then Zane Smith over Andy Bennis. Remember the Merced and Bell grand slams, both of them hitting grannies in that game. And yeah, Steve said each of those 4 games, the winning team scored in the first inning, at least a run. So we'll look to see if somebody doesn't get off to a quick strike. And Donovan Osborne, the left-hander, is on the mound along with the rest of his teammates. The Bucco batting order features Carlos Garcia in the leadoff position. At second base, it'll be Al Martin hitting second and left field. Jeff King at first base bats third. Then Orlando Merced, the cleanup hitter. Charlie Hayes has enjoyed great success over his career. .322 lifetime average here at Busch Stadium. He's at third base. John Wehner gets his 3rd straight start in center field. Jay Bell is the shortstop. Jason Kendall, and then Denny Neagle.
And defensively for the Cardinals, in back of Donovan Osborne, it'll be Ron Gant in left field, Ray Langford, the center fielder. It'll be Brian Jordan in right, Gary Gaetti, the third baseman. Royce Clayton at shortstop, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the Clayton-Ozzie Smith situation as we go on. It's David Bell at second base, John Mabry at first base. He's ranked among the National League batting average leaders, and Tom Pagnozzi, the veteran catcher, behind the plate for Donovan Osborne, who is 6-4, .363 ERA. And talking to some of the Cardinal people, that he has been probably the most consistent starter on their rotation, although their pitching has been much improved lately. They've gotten very, very good starting pitching the last month at the St. Louis Cardinals. So Donovan Osborne on the mound, the left-hander. And you look at the Pirates lineup, a couple of things that I noticed, Greg. First of all, Al Martin continues to get the starts as he wants to have happen, and he's picked it up against left-handed pitchers, so he is improving in that category. And according to Al, the more he sees of the left-hand starters, the better he'll become, the more familiar. And so that's going probably in the correct direction. Also, John Wehner continues to get some starts in center field, and we had a chance to have a long conversation with John about his center field play, and talked to Rich Donnelly, talked a little bit about John Wehner to Bill Burden. So we'll pass those items along as we get deeper into the ball game, but right now we're going to crank it up against Donovan Osborne.
Carlos Garcia hitting .316 with 3 homers, 28 runs batted in. Donovan Osborne started the season on the disabled list. He was in a car accident in spring training, suffered bruised ribs, and started the year on the DL. He made his '96 debut against the Pirates and beat the Bucs here on April the 17th. I showed you that graphic earlier. He beat Steve Blass's pregame guest Danny Darwin. Underway and fouled out of play. Garcia, Martin, and King, the first 3 in the Bucco order.
And Donovan Osborne and Denny Neagle will throw a lot of strikes, and they will move a ball game along. So if you're a batter, get ready when you get up there, because you're going to see a lot of pitches in the strike zone. Osborne only 17 walks in his 87 innings. Denny Neagle only 18 walks in his 99 innings.
A guy you might look for to have some success against Osborne. As you saw the numbers, bobbled by Clayton, recovers, throws to first, and they just do get Carlos Garcia.
Royce Clayton and Ozzie Smith not in the lineup. There's a lot of stuff flying around in reference to Royce Clayton playing Ozzie Smith, winding down his career, whether Ozzie should be at the All-Star game, as you take a look at this recovery by Clayton. And Tony La Russa and Ozzie Smith having some differences, some philosophical differences about who's going to be playing shortstop.
That man is in the center of that controversy, like it or not, and that was kind of predicted in spring training after Clayton was acquired from the San Francisco Giants. There's La Russa Ozzie Smith went as far as to call him a liar. Said he lied to him in spring training.
About playing time.
Said he was going to play the best shortstop, and according to Ozzie, he was the best shortstop.
Because he hit better in spring training. I think that was one of the items that was brought up. But Royce Clayton kind of bought over here. He doesn't say much. He just kind of stands around. He's in the middle of things.
Left field, and the sunlight, a bit of a problem early on here at Busch Stadium. You saw Ron Gant fight that kind of sneaks through the top of the archways here. Take a look at the shadows.
Yep, and you can see there, I don't know if you can see the design of them, but you got the scalloped effect. There you go. Thank you, Dennis. And you got the that effect that lets some sunlight through, so the lights haven't taken effect. It's kind of in the twilight zone right now, so you got the sun, the fading sun to fight, and also the lights factor.
Jeff King. 18 homers, 56 runs batted in for King.
It's warm in St. Louis. It's not as warm as it can be, and we expect to see it be as warm as it can be tomorrow and Sunday. But right now, not too bad, and I think the natural surface helps a little bit, although we're just getting word, Terry, it's 93 degrees. All right. Well, what we've got is a good central fan system up here in the booth, because it doesn't really seem too bad right now.
Quickly out in front, 0-2 is Donovan Osborne to Jeff King.
Expecting a steamy weekend.
The 0-2 comes again inside. You're seeing National League pitchers more and more come into King. Osborne, 6'2", 195-pound left-hander, just turned 27.
He's 4-2 in his career against Pittsburgh.
Reaching out this time, deep short. Clayton the backhand and the throw to first, and they just do get Jeff King. So Osborne has a 1-2-3 top half of the first inning. The Redbirds come to bat on Prime. Bottom of the first inning, the Pirates will face the St. Louis Cardinals batting order this way. Denny Neagle on the hill against Royce Clayton, Ray Lankford and Ron Gant. Gary Gaetti, the cleanup hitter. Brian Jordan in right. Tom Pagnozzi having a great year, the sixth man in the order. John Mabry also having an outstanding season, among the league leaders in hitting. Then David Bell and Donovan Osborne.
Defensively in back of Denny Neagle, that'll be Al Martin in left, John Wayner, as we mentioned, in center, Orlando Merced, the right fielder, Charlie Hayes, Jay Bell, Carlos Garcia, and Jeff King around the infield, third to first. Jason Kendall working with Denny Neagle. Denny 8-3 on the year with a 3.10 ERA. And his control, as we said, quite good. Just 18 walks in his 99 innings, 2-3 lifetime against the St. Louis Cardinals.
First pitch, swing and a miss. Royce Clayton, a 270 average, 3 homers and 18 runs batted in. Look at Denny Nagle's numbers. A no decision his last start. 7 shutout innings Saturday at Joe Robbie Stadium.
As part of that first difficult win of the road trip, it was scoreless at the end of 9. So Denny Neagle and the relief corps that followed him did an outstanding job. Because if you blink, you're going to lose that game 1-0 in regulation. Well, neither the Pirates nor the Marlins blinked until the 10th. The blink came from the Marlins big time, and the Bucks won it 4-1. The 3-run home run by Jeff King was the big item there.
Goes outside. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Royce Clayton. Clayton, who came over during the offseason from the San Francisco Giants. As the Cardinals sent some pitchers, Alan Watson, Rich DeLucia, and Doug Creek, to get this shortstop, and that started that controversy that we mentioned. Chopped foul, and he stays alive 1-2.
I've heard people say that the most difficult thing that a manager has to do is help a superstar wind down and kind of work with him throughout that transition when he goes from kind of superstar status to the end of a career. It's not easy for the player. It's not easy for the manager either.
There's the Wizard.
But from a personal standpoint, Ozzie Smith, thanks for all the treats. You have been a joy to watch.
And even though it's taken a little bit of the luster off, it'll wear off as time goes on, and he'll enjoy the kind of last trip around the different ballparks, including Pittsburgh. By the way, you'll get a chance to see Ozzie Smith next weekend. This is popped up into shallow center, and John Wayner is there to make the catch for the first out. But yeah, Ozzie Smith, absolutely one of the best. Now, you talked about John Wayner earlier, Steve. Oh, take a look at Ozzie Smith first of all. We're just mentioning one for the ages is right on. Maybe the all-time greatest shortstop it's fair to say that ever played the game, though there are certainly arguments
Honus
from the
Wagner.
old-timers, absolutely. But those that have seen him play over the last 20 years have said, those who've seen baseball over the last 20 years will tell you that he's been the best.
He has been something to watch defensively. He's done his job with the bat, too. He's done a good job there. He's been adequate. And maybe that's why he won't be ranked with a guy like Honus Wagner because of offense. But Ozzie Smith, probably the best ever to play his position, and he rightfully will go directly to Cooperstown as soon as possible.
Did not pass go. Ray Lankford, left-hand hitter, one of a couple left-handers in the lineup for Tony La Russa. 268 average with 14 homers and 45 runs batted in. One out, nobody on. Right side, a one-hop smash. Jeff King is there.
You know, go back to John Wayner a little bit, if we could. I was talking to John before the ball game, and John was telling me that he's getting more and more comfortable in center field. And I said, why? He said, because the more you play out there and the more you even prepare out there, taking fly balls during your team's batting practice, the volume of balls off the bat help you develop confidence and make you more comfortable. And he said the sound of the bat hitting the ball tells him as much as anything, and that helps him. So in noisy stadiums, it's more difficult, and he considers Montreal to be a very, very noisy ballpark. It's a little tougher there. He said in Florida, he could hear the bat hit the ball very, very clearly, and that certainly helped. He said also,
takes ball one.
He also said that center field, you don't have to contend with the ball getting lost in the lights, because you don't, as a center fielder, you don't have lights that the ball can come out of. Left and center you do, and he said that was a problem for him. He also said that used to be there was no contest. Third base was his favorite position. He said it still might have an edge, but it's becoming more and more comfortable and more enjoyable for John to play out in center field.
Oh, 1 and 2 now to Ron Gant.
And also got some good support, verbal support from Rich Donnelly, who sees him on a regular basis, and Bill Verdon, who knows his work habits and that sort of thing. They feel that John does a very, very adequate job in center field. So good marks for John Wayner in terms of his approach to the game and his progress as a center fielder.
And Bill Verdon is here with the team. There's a swing and a miss at the off-speed, and Ron Gant is a strikeout victim.
There's your first inning.
1, 2, 3. After one on Prime. Ready to go already with the top of the second inning, and Orlando Merced steps in against Donovan Osborne. Janet Chapin of Monroeville is our Giant Eagle home run hitters contestant. Merced has 11 dingers with 31 runs batted in. He and Jay Bell hit the grand slams, you'll remember, on April the 16th. Swing at the miss at the first pitch. Merced, 3 of his 11 homers have come against the Cardinals this season in that 4-game set. 7 out of 16 against St. Louis pitchers this year. Osborne throwing strikes.
And for Donovan Osborne, he has given up 11 home runs in his 13 starts. Similar number for Denny Neagle. So they have been reached for the long ball on occasion.
Out of play. Osborne attended UNLV. Had to battle back from shoulder surgery. December of '93. He missed all of the '94 campaign because of that.
Major work on the shoulder. Reconstructive type stuff.
And the strikeout. So Osborne fans Orlando Merced.
Neither one of these left-handers is considered to be overpowering, but there's the very good Donovan Osborne curveball. Straight down. You got to break across and down, in Orlando not able to follow that pitch all the way down. And that is strikeout number 52. Denny Neagle with more strikeouts, but neither one of these lefties are going to throw the ball by people on a regular basis.
Charlie Hayes has a good rip. Hayes struggling on this road trip, batting just .087, 2 out of 23, but still on the year 9 homers and 40 runs batted in. Pretty solid, and that pretty much describes Charlie Hayes. Solid. Oftentimes at third base, spectacular. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, if you had a chance to take a look at the standings when Greg was talking about the National League Central before the ball game started, you noticed that Houston in first place, the Cardinals back of Houston by 1, and the Bucks 3 games out. So that makes them 2 and back of the Cardinals. So a lot of ground to be determined between St. Louis and Pittsburgh in the next 10 days as they meet 7 times, 3 here and 4 at home. So you're going to get some answers before we break for the All-Star game a week from Monday.
Swing and the miss.
Actually, the break starts a week from Monday. The All-Star game on Tuesday of that week.
Don't forget about the Holiday Spectacular homestand, which comes up on Monday. The Cubs are in for 3, and then the Cardinals. Fireworks night, July the 3rd. Cardinals, July the 4th. 3:05 start. Hayes, hard hit ball, but Clayton stays right with it. 6-3.
I would.
2 down. Mentioned the Chicago Cubs, Monday night 7:35, Tuesday at 7:35, then the fireworks night. The Cardinals in 3:05, barbecue picnic, 4th of July, and then July the 5th, fan appreciation night. Posters given away Saturday night, Forbes Field Memories posters, and then a kids special game at 1:35, magazines for kid, and a Denny Neagle poster to be given away, appropriately enough. Steve, I'm sorry, you were going to say.
I was going to say it's so much of a different atmosphere here in St. Louis than when we first came here, because all the talk was about Leyland versus LaRussa. So they're probably enjoying this weekend more than they enjoyed that first matchup, because everybody was all over. They did not have a minute to breathe. So this sequence a little different.
Meantime, and we said this the other day too, and Steve, you just went over the defensive situation with John Wehner, the fact that he's gotten high praise from Bill Verdon as well as the coaches and Jim Leyland for his defensive work in center. If he starts to do what he just did, once in a while you may see, as we said, that platoon situation that Jim Leyland likes, with Kingery batting against the right-handers and Wehner against left-handers.
Mm-hmm. Nice job of going the opposite way on that base hit to give the Pirates their first base runner. John has not enjoyed much success as a base stealer. He's been successful one time, thrown out 3. But you always watch John Wehner, because John Wehner will do anything he can to contribute. And sometimes it's well-intentioned and maybe not the correct thing to do, but his intentions can never be questioned. And he's made a couple mistakes, but Jim Leyland has not missed a beat in terms of support for John Wehner.
Strike is called. Wehner, a couple seasons back at Buffalo, stole 21 bases in less than 90 games, so he certainly has the good speed. Now he talks to Tommy Sant, the first base coach, to make sure of the size situation. John Mabry holding Wehner aboard as the pitch is delivered to Jay Bell. Bell is really in need of a big series.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got a rookie umpire back at home plate tonight, by the way. Paul Nard, N-A-U-E-R-T, and then Greg Bonet, Frank Pulley, and Larry Poncino on the bases.
Osborne stepping off. There's Nauert, Paul Nauert, Bonet, Pulley, and Poncino. Move to first, and Wehner back standing.
Mabry and Wehner, John-to-John conversation.
1-2 the count to Jay Bell. He is struggling, hitting .228. Saw the numbers, just 1 out of his last 14 at bats.
And there have been a lot of those kind of semi-awkward, not confident swings. And, well, that's the kind of swings you're taking when you're hitting about .230. It's not quite sure of yourself. Jay right in the middle of these miseries.
Chopper. Here comes Clayton. Up with it. Throw to first base. He will not get Jay Bell.
There's a start.
Yeah, here, I was just going to ask you, that certainly isn't a solid shot to the outfield, but when you're going bad, is that the kind of thing, Steve, that can maybe just start to get you jump started?
Well, it certainly gives you a start, because you've been looking for base hits, and it really doesn't matter how you get one. It just feels good for a change to be on first base. And that might help your frame of mind a little bit, maybe perk you up a little bit for your next at bat. Certainly no guarantee because he didn't have a good swing at that ball, but he found a way to get a base hit. So, boy, you scratch him out any way you can when you're in that kind of a funk.
Here's Jason Kendall. He has been outstanding in his entire rookie season at the plate. 294 average, and one of the better clutch hitters for the Bucks. Jason Kendall celebrated his 22nd birthday just a couple of days back. Kendall is hitting .347 with runners in scoring position.
And Osborne has a good curveball, and Jason Kendall's proven himself to be a pretty good breaking ball hitter. Now, the Pirates will run on Ron Gant in left field. A base hit in that direction, I would think that Gene Lamont would send Wainer.
Strike is called.
Stronger arms in center field and right. There's Ron Gant.
One ball, one strike to Kendall. He's not afraid to get into a two-strike situation. There goes, including himself, figures, well, I'd concentrate better. So, and I've got enough confidence in myself when I have two strikes.
He's there.
1 and 2 now. Jason Kendall. Bucks have a potential right now anyway, and we're not halfway through the year, though we will be. In 3 days, we'll be at the halfway mark, playing 81 games with a 162-game schedule. But the Pirates have contenders right now for National League Rookie of the Year in Kendall and Francisco Cordova in the bullpen. Don't forget, this guy's got 10 saves, and Steve's pregame guest could be the National League Comeback Player of the Year, coming over from the American League. This is fouled out of play. Ron Gant, the Comeback Player of the Year last season.
Big time. And you talk about the job that Darwin has done for the year and the month of June. And if you set aside Zane Smith's last outing up in Montreal, these two veterans really unbelievable in the month of June. So you hope for a couple things. They continue to pitch that way, and they continue to be healthy. I was talking to Danny Darwin before the game. I said, what about that curveball Cormier threw right at your knees? I said, it got my attention. Did it get yours? He said, oh, yeah. He says, I'm very, 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 very aware of what happens to my knees these days.
Kendall fights it off, rolls it to second. David Bell retires the Pirates catcher. So a couple of men on against Osborne. Nothing doing on the scoreboard after 1.5 on Prime Sports. Back at Busch Stadium, Pirates and the Cardinals scoreless so far. And Denny Neagle retired Redbirds in order in the first, now facing Gary Gaetti, the cleanup hitter. 246 in his first campaign with the Redbirds, 8 homers, 28 runs batted in. Hit hard, foul. Ron Gant ended the inning with a strikeout. Now Gaetti leads off the second. A couple of weeks on the DL for Gaetti, the broken left toe. End of April, first couple of weeks of May. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dropped a steel grate while working on his flooded basement. Broke the toe.
Don't do it every time.
Pirates tried to get him, thought they had a real good shot at getting Gary Gaetti. Last minute, he decided on the Cardinals. Just foul.
He's hitting 246. Charlie Hayes is hitting 245. Charlie Hayes has 9 home runs. Gary Gaetti has 8 home runs. Gaetti has 28 RBIs, and Charlie has 40. We did the right thing.
Case closed.
Yep.
Worked out for the best. And a fly to right field. Merced. 1 down.
Well, I had a chance to talk to Denny Neagle up in Montreal, and I was all set for this big conversation. I said, Denny, I want to talk to you, and this is on the air. So I wanted to talk to you about this situation at first base. You was a left-hand pitcher when you have Jeff King over there, and he kind of plays off first base when there's a runner. I said, you know, is that distracting? I was going to get on his development as a pitcher, and that's kind of a new thing. And he simply said no, and that was it. So it's no problem for Denny and most of the other left-hand batters to be looking over there and have the first baseman playing off the bag instead of right on the base holding the runner on. I thought it was going to be the introduction of a real
good
lengthy,
in-depth.
cutting conversation. And
Didn't get it.
He said, no problem.
That was it. 1 ball, no strikes to Brian Jordan. Look out. Back goes flying. Has he got a piece?
Jay Bell will take that on the backhand side.
We'll hand it to Tommy Reynolds, the third base coach.
Hey, Jay might want to take a look at that bat and see if it's got some hits in it for him and keep it.
Keep an eye on that guy. See if he doesn't start to come around offensively. Any moment he will.
Well, he always has. He's always been a guy that's had strong second halves and struggled early. But this year he got off to a great start, and now he's hit the miseries. And boy, there's no guarantee that you're always going to be able to pick it up with a strong second half and be legit. It's hard work. As his bats start accumulating.
1-2 the count to Jordan. One out, nobody on. Set up inside. And they get Brian Jordan off speed. Strikeout number 2 for Denny Neagle.
Not sure if that was the changeup or the curveball, but we'll be able to take a second look. The magic of television. I think that was the changeup. You see too much break on it. One-handed finish by a batter and the swing off an off-speed pitch. You usually verify it. Start that swing early. Hard to keep both hands on the bat.
Back to the box, and Garcia ranging far to his right will retire Tom Pagnazzi. Another 1-2-3 inning for Denny Neagle. A bit of a scare there. He shakes it off. We'll go to the third. 0-0 on Prime.
No score at the end of 2 innings. We'll go to the top of the third, and we'll let you know that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Denny Neagle leads off against Osborne, and a drive to left field. Ron Gant going back, still going back, and he had it measured, making the catch at the warning track.
You know, they've done a lot of adjustments in this ballpark. We noticed them when we first came here in April, and they've shortened the fences a little bit, but there's still a whole lot of acreage in the outfield here at Busch Stadium. 402 now to center field. It used to be 414, but still a lot of room for outfielders to roam around, track balls down, as Ron Gant comfortably did there.
St. Louis Cardinals historically at Busch Stadium having the speedsters out in the outfield. Carlos Garcia, his second at bat.
Remember when they had Willie McGee and Vince Coleman? I mean, you could not get a ball anywhere in the outfield. I mean, if you hit it in the air to the outfield, you're out.
Just don't hit the ball to the outfield.
Right.
Or it's over.
Or hit it far enough. Yeah, hit it over.
Fouled off. Gene Lamont, third base coach. Carlos Garcia. Done quite well as the Pirates' leadoff man. Fights this off, out of play. The Bucks, by the way, had gone through a stretch of 21 consecutive games without seeing a left-hander before this road trip, however. Now, for the last 6 games, they've seen a left-handed starter. So 21 straight without, and 4 out of 6 they've seen a left-handed pitcher, including Osborne, as Garcia hits the soft liner to Royce Clayton. First round pick in June of '90, Donovan Osborne. That whole year and a half really on the injury list with the left shoulder surgery, recovered from that.
It is amazing how guys come back from that kind of serious stuff, and that was not the case. I know more than 15 years ago, perhaps 20. Wasn't even easy for anybody to describe exactly what was wrong. Well, he's out of baseball, his arm went bad. And that was it. Now your arm goes bad, whatever happens, they can make it go good.
It's back. Speaking of that,
spare parts. There must be some kind of elbow or spare parts or joints or ligament store. Same store that all left-hand pitchers go for that big curveball. I'll have a Oh, the new elbow and a...
Give me one of them curveballs.
Yeah, and give me one. Yeah, throw him one of them curveballs. Yes, elbow and curveball combo day.
1-1 the count. Chopper, right side, second base. David Bell retires Martin. And for the second time in 3 innings, Donovan Osborne sets down the Bucs in order. 2.5 played from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 0-0. You're watching Prime Sports.
Well, apparently he's going to build some kind of a ship and put it in there.
Here's John Mabry.
You know, Greg, what we're seeing here is maybe a replay of the Denny Neagle-Al Leiter matchup. It was one that posted those zeros Saturday night. Denny went 7, Leiter went 8 scoreless. And one of them gave up a run.
Mabry to left, Al Martin right there, 1 away. John Mabry came in batting .335, 7th highest average in the National League. Putting together quite a year as Mabry. Now second baseman David Bell. Buddy Bell's son, current Tigers skipper.
Buddy Bell's son, you got Fred Kendall's son there, coach.
Right.
You know, like I was thinking about Jason Kendall and Keith Osick today, and they've done such a good job. And we've talked a lot about that, but and I was guilty of this too early in the season, maybe still a little bit to this day. There's a base hit in the left center field. You know, anybody else that comes to the big leagues, a pitcher comes to the big leagues, all right, yeah, he's going to have some growing pains. Even a Greg Maddux or a Tom Glavine, when that came up, they didn't do too well. But I don't know if we ever really acknowledge the fact that that's okay for catchers too to have some growing pains in terms of their throwing. Every other aspect has been so very strong. So, hey, they're allowed to have some growing pains too. It just happens to be in the throwing area, which is very noticeable at times. But they have settled down, and you know, let's give them a break too, because I think I came out of spring training. Well, boy, it's such a critical position. These guys have to be great right away, or people are really going to take advantage of them. Well, they've had some growing pains, but it's been okay. They've done a good job while they're growing up in the big leagues.
Donovan Osborne drops down the bunt to move the runner to second. He does. Carlos Garcia takes the throw on the sacrifice. It goes 1-4. David Bell into scoring position. And before we forget, Steve just mentioned Bell, his father, Buddy, the manager of the Detroit Tigers, and also mentioning Fred Kendall. Fred Kendall, the bullpen coach for Buddy Bell with the Detroit Tigers. And quite a family line there, yeah.
Because of all that connection, Jason did not tell David what was coming.
No. Royce Clayton fly to center in the first inning. Hit hard and past the shortstop, and that'll score the run easily. Run scoring single for Royce Clayton, and the Cardinals have the lead, 1-0.
Well, perfectly done to score a run. It was up the middle, so nobody's going to get to it. It wasn't really smoked, so it was going to die in short center field, which obviously gives David Bell plenty of time to get around and score. So the location was good, and the fact that he didn't hit it hard guaranteed the run. Went down, got what probably was a changeup down and away.
1-0 St. Louis. Ray Langford now at the plate. David Bell scores the first run. Langford grounded to first. His first time up. Runner goes. Got a great jump. Making it easily into second base is Royce Clayton with his 16th stolen base of the year.
And a good throw by Jason Kendall, but the jump was too good. That pitch, or that base, was stolen on Denny Neagle.
So now Ray Langford with a man in scoring position. Royce Clayton had 24 stolen bases last year for the San Francisco Giants. 2-0 to Langford. Pitch. This is fouled off, out of play the other way. Langford batting second for Tony La Russa's Redbirds. Ron Gant on deck. Tony La Russa signed a 2-year deal during the offseason. Coming over from the A's. 17 years in the American League as manager of the White Sox and the A's. Pickoff try and yes, they got him. Just a close play, but not even that close. He was out.
Nice move by Denny Neagle. The good timing between Neagle and Bell. Get Royce Clayton leaning, and Jay might have blocked him from getting into second base. Gets the job done and cleans it up. So we have completed 3. It's a 1-0 St. Louis lead.
Jeff King leads off the 4th inning. Kathy McKenney of Cumberland, Maryland, our Giant Eagle home run hitters contestant. Bucks trail 1-0. King will do that. He'll show bunts at third baseman, and Gaetti really hasn't moved in at all. But King will do that on occasion. Drop a bunt down third base way. Figures that third baseman is going to give it to him. Now Gaetti takes a couple of steps in. 2-0.
Well, he's got a pitcher that he's working against that follows through toward the third baseline. So Jeff decides to try to dump it down. He needs to get it near the baseline to keep it away from Osborne.
He goes left side, foul. Jeff King bounced to short in the first inning. First game of 3 with the St. Louis Cardinals. National League Central Division stretch. 21 consecutive games against the division.
Osborne last time out, a loser to the Montreal Expos, worked 7 innings, just 2 runs given up. Charged with a loss.
It was his first loss since May the 26th. Donovan Osborne, who has a career record here at Busch Stadium, 18-9. An earned run average just over 3 in his home ballpark. Tried to check his swing, and he did. 3-2 to the Pirates leadoff hitter, Jeff King. There's a chopper back to Osborne. And the play goes 1-3. And now Orlando Merced. Well, let's show you the play that ended the bottom of the 3rd inning. Steve Blass mentioned that Jay Bell might have gotten that knee in there to block second.
Check the knee, check the hand. The hand bounces off the knee. That cost Clayton the out because by the time he bounced the hand off the knee and got it to the base, there, it's blocked. By the time he gets to the base, the tag has been made, so nice work by Jay Bell. That's a kind of a fine area, kind of a gray area. Catchers will do that on occasion. There's a pitch that misses to Orlando Merced, but catchers will block the plate a little bit. They'll try to time it so they're blocking the plate just a second before they get the ball. It's technically illegal. You're supposed to have the ball before you block any base. Another pitch that misses, but boy, it's such a gray area that you can kind of do a little sales job every once in a while. Don Slaught used to do it well, and Jay Bell did it there. Just having that knee down there as he took just time to bring the tag down.
Osborne falls behind Merced, 3-0.
We also saw it down in Florida the first series of the season with Greg Colburn blocking Nelson Lariano
first base
off first base to complete a pickoff. Every once in a while you get away with it.
3-1 now to Merced. He walked him. 1-out walk. Steve said at the beginning, Donovan Osborne has real good control numbers. That's just the 18th walk he has allowed.
If you're wondering about another St. Louis left-hander, Danny Jackson, spent some time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Danny was working a simulated game this afternoon early.
Jackson on the disabled list currently.
Yep.
Yeah, that pitching is coming around for the St. Louis Cardinals. The Bennis brothers, Andy and Alan, will see Andy tomorrow afternoon. Todd Stottlemyre, brought over from the A's, will pitch Sunday. Mike Morgan has returned from the disabled list.
He pitched well last night, but not as well as Greg Maddox pitched against the Cardinals, and it was a 3-0 shutout for the Braves over St. Louis.
Second base. The flip to the shortstop, Clayton, and that's tailor-made. 4-6-3, a double play, ends the top of the 4th inning. 3.5 at Busch Stadium. It's the Cardinals 1, Pirates nothing on Prime Sports. Ray Lankford leads off against Denny Neagle, and he takes ball 1. He was aboard when Royce Clayton was picked off second. Cardinals got a run in the 3rd. Check swing, 3rd base. Charlie Hayes on to 1st. 1 down. Time for a look at this date in baseball history involving the Pirates. It's brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers, home of the minivan store. Steve Blass, do you remember when the Pirates swept a doubleheader from the Cubs 3-2 and 4-1? Final games ever played at Forbes Field on this date in 1970.
I remember it well.
You remember who got the last win in front of nearly 41,000 fans?
Jim Nelson. Also part of our 71 championship team, and I believe Maz recorded the last out ever at Forbes. Downstairs.
People were flying down on the field. Were you interested at all in getting any souvenirs from Forbes Field?
I had a truck like everybody else backed up. What I did, I got 2 of those sheet metal numbers from the scoreboard, a 2 and an 8. That was my number, so I still have those. But, there were a lot of souvenirs taken out of that ballpark that day. People were ripping signs off and heading down the street with whatever wasn't nailed down, took out of there.
Ron Gant, 2 balls, no strikes to the left fielder.
I also remember us taking out our caps after the last out, and they were given away as part of a drawing. We all left our caps on a table, and the gunner raffled them off, or however they distributed the hats. Then it was off to Three River Stadium with those double knit uniforms. I'm glad I don't have to wear right now. Pirates had the first double knit uniforms.
Three and 1 the count to Ron Gant. This is fouled back our way. Nope, not going to get there. 3 and 2. Almost, Stephen. You were right there, weren't you? You were poised.
I was on the play.
Now, the ball actually hit about 10 feet above us, so it really wasn't all that close. But, again, you were ready.
I could reach, yeah.
Sure.
I could make
you had no chance. 3-2 to Gant. By the way, speaking of the gunner, I wanted to mention this. You and I were talking about it between innings. One of my all-time favorite announcers, Jack Buck. I talked to him before the game for our radio pre-game show on Sunday on our flagship KDK. This is driven deep to center field. Wainer there. A scare.
But he's there.
But he's there. 2 outs. There is Jack Buck.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer in both the Baseball Hall of Fame and the Football Hall of Fame. That's rare.
Is that Colin Jarrett, his engineer?
Longtime engineer.
Yep, good guy.
Jack Buck, whose son Joe is also, of course, a Cardinals broadcaster and on Fox football, baseball.
I'm going to miss him and Hank Stram on Monday night radio, NFL games. 2 very familiar boys. You had to also look at Mike Shannon there.
You're right, and I asked him about that too, if he was going to miss Monday Night Football on CBS Radio, and he said basically they were looking to cut back money, and he says that's, I think, one of the reasons they dumped us.
Well, that's
Hank
right,
and
Henry.
me. Hank.
That is a very familiar voice, Monday nights. Well, Henry, I think they can do some business on the right side.
And here come the Bears, 1st and 10 on the 20.
Back with more
on CBS Radio Sports. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Gary Gaetti. This is ripped foul. Look out. 3rd base umpire Larry Poncino had to dipsy doodle out of the way.
What's that called? The wrestler's bridge when they go back like that? Yeah, Larry.
Good work. Look at that.
Oh, a pirouette. Very stylish.
Well done. Get out of there.
Don't pull the ball. Hit the ball where it's pitched.
He's a great guy, Larry Poncino. Up and in the count. Now 2 and 2 to Gaetti. One nothing, St. Louis.
Good change.
Got him. Third strikeout for Denny Neagle. 1-2-3 go the Redbirds. 1-0 on Prime.
That guy right there has just done a heck of a job on some cotton candy.
Any left? Did we see any at all?
No, it's a done deal.
It's all gone.
Yep, young Cardinal fan.
He took it and smushed it
bunches.
all into one bunch that he had in his fist, and he just looked like you as a kid, didn't he, Steve? That's kind of the way you handle that cotton candy.
Right. That's why I have all these fillings.
1-0. The count to Wainer. It's a ball upstairs. John Wainer. Oh, he's got some more. He's going. Look at him going after that.
Buddy. Friday night at the ballpark. A little cotton candy, a little Major League Baseball. Not a bad program.
Have some good pitching. 2-1 now to Wainer. 2-out single in the second inning.
I don't know if John is talking to Tom Pagnazzi or himself.
That's hit hard to left field. Ron Gant, however, is going to be right there. Speaking of a Friday night at the ballpark, Pirates will be home not only Friday, but Monday through Sunday.
The Cubs. Hey, we haven't seen the Cubs. Come on out and see the Cubs, the Phantom team.
Yeah, this is the first look at the Chicago Cubs. Ryan Sandberg returns to Three Rivers.
July 1st, we get our first look at Chicago. Advantage card night. You got some fireworks to kick off the 4th of July holiday.
And speaking of the 4th of July, can you go wrong with a free barbecue picnic? That game starts at 3:05, but beforehand, the first 10,000 fans enjoy a free holiday picnic, plus a post-game concert at Gate A.
So it's going to be a nice homestand, and you take a look at Saturday and Sunday, Forbes Field Memories Night. We're talking about Forbes Field. It's Magazine Day, and yeah, so it should be a fun week of Pirate baseball. 3 of the Cubs, 4 of the Cardinals. For your holiday enjoyment. Midsummer baseball. Midsummer deep into the season. 321 Bucks, 1-800-BUY-BUCKS.
Last chance to catch the Cubs and Cards before the All-Star break at Three Rivers Stadium, and the Bucks will be on the road following the break. So come on out for a full week of baseball. 0-2 the count to Jay Bell. Takes this one up and in.
I like that 3:05 start on the 4th of July. You can come out, watch the ball game, still head back, and have the
got the city fireworks there too.
Well,
if you want to stay in town.
You get the free barbecue, and then you can go back after the game and have your own.
Perfect.
Double barbecue it.
2-2. Jay Bell. Pop foul out of play.
Denny Neagle and Ray Miller checking their notes. Denny doing a good job so far, just 1 run in 4 innings.
Neagle, by the way, came in with the 10th lowest earned run average in the National League. So the Bucks, along with Danny Darwin, have 2 of the top 10 in the league in that department.
He has become quite a pitcher. The more I talk to Denny about his adjustments as he works during the course of a ball game, he knows he's got a great changeup, but he knows he has to keep people honest. He says he can go more to the fastball now because everybody's looking for the changeup.
Donovan Osborne records his 2nd strikeout.
So Denny pitching well, but Osborne a little bit better at this point. Strikeout of Jay Bell.
Bring up Jason Kendall, 2 outs, nobody on in the 5th. The Pirates trail 1-0. Kendall bounced to 2nd in the 2nd inning.
Donovan Osborne has gone no less than 7 innings in his last 5 starts. And that really helps a bullpen. 6-4, as we told you, 4-2 in his career against the Bucks, and in his major league career, he's won 31. He's lost 26.
2-0 to Kendall. To left field and a base hit. 2-out single, Jason Kendall. His fourth hit in 11 at-bats on this road trip, and that will allow Denny Neagle to at least bat. And you say, well, that's no big deal, but we said before, that number 8 man in the order can be awfully important just because if he can get a hit, as Kendall does here with 2 outs, so Neagle bats, it brings your top of the order up to lead off the 6th, should Neagle not reach.
Get on the other side of the pitcher, although Denny gave the ball a pretty good ride to left field last time up, sending Ron Gant close to the warning track.
A sneaky move there from Osborne made that play closer. Ball 1. Hit toward left, slicing away from Gant and out of play. Kendall returns to first base. I don't know if this means anything or not. I was just looking at the Pirates' record this year, Steve, following off days. And if you include the one day where the Pirates made a trip down to Zebulon, North Carolina, to take on their Double-A club, but if you call that an off day, which by all rights it should be, the Pirates are 2-7 in games following off days. Now, what does that tell you? Anything?
Well, to me, it tells you that the Pirates know how to enjoy an off day.
And a strike is called to Neagle.
It's kind of a funny feeling to have an off day on the road because you're at a hotel, you're just conditioned to go to a ballpark. But a lot of us didn't go to ballparks last night. Went out and had a nice dinner.
So Osborne strikes out Neagle for his 3rd K. The Pirates still nothing going against the left-hander, but will have Carlos Garcia to at least lead off the 6th. Meantime, the Redbirds come to bat in the home half of the 5th. It's 1-0 on Prime. Cards come to bat bottom of the 5th, leading 1-0. Tomorrow on Prime Sports KBL at 1 o'clock, Hooters Tour Jackaroo Golf Classic, 3rd round action live from Whitewater Country Club in Atlanta. At 5, IBF Junior Bantamweight. The title, Harry Gray against Achilles Guzman, live from Colombia. And at 9, tune in for the 1996 Victor Awards, 30 from Las Vegas. And at 1 a.m., Press Box Live, featuring marathon runner Helen Klein. So a full slate of sports action tomorrow, beginning at 1 o'clock. On Prime Sports. Brian Jordan will lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. Struck out against Neagle in the 2nd.
The eyes have it.
Denny Neagle giving up the 1 run in the 3rd inning.
Just 2 hits through 4 innings. Osborne has given up 3, but the Pirates have not scored through the first 5. One
ball, 1 strike. Brian Jordan, one-time 2 sports star out of Richmond University. He was signed by the Cardinals organization. Played minor league ball with St. Louis, and during his spare time roamed the defensive backfield with the Atlanta Falcons after he was let go by the Buffalo Bills, who originally picked him in the 1989 draft. Bills released him out of training camp. Falcons picked him up. He ended up as an alternate in the Pro Bowl in '92. Back there with former teammate Deion Sanders. Strike is called. 2-2, and really for years since coming up through the Cardinals organization, and the last 4 years plus, having given up the NFL, he had flirted with the idea of going back. Chop foul, going back to playing football, but the Cardinals made him happy enough with a brand new contract last year to stick exclusively to baseball, and it has really paid off. He became a full-time player last year, put together a solid season. Inside.
Here you see Denny Neagle trying to work that hard stuff inside just to show the batters a different look, because they have gotten so accustomed to seeing a lot of off-speed stuff from Denny, and they still will, but now it'll be set up a little more often with something in on the hands to keep him honest. He goes away with a changeup.
And he is not going to get him. No chance.
Well, the changeup just tapped down the third baseline. Charlie Hayes playing deep. Denny Neagle not able to get over to get it. And that's going to be a base hit. Not much you can do about that.
Have to pay attention to Jordan now, who has 7 steals and 10 attempts this year.
See Denny Neagle work with Jeff King sliding off first base to position himself in front of the runner. And the serious question I did pose to Denny Neagle, I said, does it disrupt your concentration when your first baseman is off the base working with a base runner? He said, not really. He said after a few times he's gotten comfortable with it. Even though Jeff King will be moving more than he would, obviously, if he was anchored at first base and you had a stationary target. Then he said it's no real problem.
Another look at what Steve's talking about. Jeff King will play in front of the base runner with a left-hander on the mound. Ball 2 to Pagnozzi. Jordan leads off with an infield single, bottom of the 5th inning, and the Cardinals lead 1-0. And Pagnozzi looks down to third base coach Tommy Reynolds.
Pagnozzi would be a double play candidate. He doesn't run all that well. He's hit into 4 double plays this year.
There goes the runner. The throw down almost hits Neagle and skips into center field. Wainer gets a good jump on the ball, fires to third. How about that play from John Wainer? He was Johnny on the spot. Hustling in from center field, scooped the ball and fired to third to get Jordan. That's a big play.
Sure was. And John not playing all that deep in center field. Here's the play. Skips by Garcia. You see Jordan on all fours, Wainer on the run and the strike. Right there, no contest. Poncino makes the call. Jordan got to know he's in trouble there because the ball has arrived. A high tag by Charlie Hayes, but Poncino lifts the right arm.
And the other look there, you can see that Jordan's argument. Yeah, Jordan was just trying to argue that he missed him. You can see he got him. Now Jay Bell fires on to first, and Pagnozzi is retired 6-3. That is so big, that play. Yeah. Stolen base for Jordan, and they don't get him. Obviously, he's at third. And
well, 99% of the time, that guy's going to be over at third base with nobody out. Changes the whole inning around, obviously. Now there's 2 outs and nothing happening. Nice job by John Wainer to get his assist in center field.
It's appropriate. Steve was saying that he talked to Wainer and some of the coaches about his defense in center. John Mabry drives one deep to right center field. This one is gone, and the Cardinals lead it 2-0. Mabry's 7th home run of the year.
Bad news is he got all of that balls. Denny Neagle gives up his 12th on the season. The good news is that it's a solo shot. The pitch from Neagle, the big curveball that never got downstairs. You see that swing about waist high, and Mayberry gets all of it. Greg was mentioning that he is ranked among the leaders in batting average in the National League and goes deep.
Mabry hit the 307 last year as a rookie.
Not to be confused with the longtime American League first baseman John Mayberry. This is John Mabry. M-A-Y-B-R-Y.
David Bell fouling it out of play. So the Pirates did a good defensive play. Then Pagnozzi grounds out, and Mabry homers to right center to give St. Louis a 2-0 advantage. Now Neagle concentrating on David Bell. And the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Ball high.
I almost get a feel like I had the first game of the road trip when the Pirates worked against Kevin Brown. Danny Darwin gave up a couple of early runs. It was 2-0. You had a sense that it was going to be very difficult for the Pirates to score because Brown was that tough. Osborne so far tonight has been that tough.
Bell just does get a piece.
That ball game became a 4-0 win for Brown and the Marlins as they added to that early 2-0 lead. Kevin Brown was as dominant as I've seen a pitcher against the Pirates in the last year or so.
Still 2-2 to Bell. One hopper. Garcia gobbles it. Side retired, but the Cardinals add to the lead on the John Mabry homer to right center. And after 5, it's the Redbirds 2, Pirates nothing. Lanny steps in as we continue on Prime Sports.
Welcome back. The Cardinals lead the Bucks 2-0. Lanny Pateri will take you through the rest of the way. And so far, partner, a lot of pitching by Donovan Osborne.
Pretty much what we expected. Unfortunately, Denny Neagle pitched 7 scoreless innings last time out and came away with no decision. The Pirates won an extra inning. So far, Denny's made just a couple of mistakes, including the home run that he offered up, the home run pitch offered up to John Mabry. One ball, one strike. Golfed into left field. And Gant, who's not known to be an outstanding defensive player, comes up with a fine running catch, one away.
And that is a nice one, as Carlos Garcia doesn't pull the ball all that much. He did this time, and Gant, full flight, gets the leather around the baseball, holds on for the first out.
Now Martin 0 for 2 against the left-hander Osborne. Two nothing St. Louis.
It's one of these ball games, Lanny, where it's getting late awfully quick when a guy like Osborne is pitching as well as he is and as briskly as he is.
These two fine left-handers, Neagle and Osborne, they've got quite a matchup tonight in Atlanta, or in Florida. The Braves' Tommy Glavine against Florida's Al Leiter. And that ball game is 1-0 Florida. Tommy Glavine's allowed only 3 hits, but it's trailing 1-0.
The Marlins can throw that 1-2 punch against you, Kevin Brown and Al Leiter.
Base hit into right center field. Langford quickly fires the ball back in, and the Pirates have 4 hits. First baseman, Jeff King. And that'll bring up the Pirates' top RBI man, Jeff King, even though Jeff has not been very successful in his career against Osborne.
I mentioned that both of these starters, as effective as they have been, have given up 11 home runs each. Neagle has added 1 to that total, and Jeff King represents the big-time home run production for the Pirates this year with his 18 long balls.
Ball is playable. Mabry hauls it out number 2. Jeff King and Jay Bell spent last night at Andy Van Slyke's house here in St. Louis, Chesterfield. And
And with 2 outs and a man on, Orlando Merced will step in. Orlando has hit 3 of his 11 home runs this year against the Cardinals, including a grand slam off Bennett.
I guess we have to identify which Bennett.
Andy Bennett.
With Allen and Andy both in the starting rotation. We'll see Andy Bennett tomorrow against Elmer Descends.
Strike 1.
The Bennett brothers, shades of Paul and Dizzy Dean. Brother tandem for the Cardinals.
2-0 St. Louis, 6th inning. We were talking the other night about Orlando's RBI total, 31. That's a bit lower than you'd want it to be. I guess Bob and I were speculating the other night about why that number's lower than it should be. I guess number one, you've got Jeff King driving in a lot of runs in front of Orlando, and plus Merced did miss some time on the disabled list.
Yeah, King has cleaned up a lot of those situations before Orlando gets up.
Well, it looked like Al wanted to run.
Well, Donovan Osborne's been very concerned about anybody who has reached first base. A lot of step-offs and throws over to first base. So he has been concerned about the Pirates' running game.
Al is running. Ball gets by Pagnazzi. Martin's going to third. And Al Martin gets to third base. It'll be a stolen base, Al's 16th of the year. And then charge a wild pitch on Osborne.
Here it comes. Al Martin is in full flight right now. Pitch bounces in front of Pagnazzi. Al is watching, sneaking a peek, still watching. Doesn't slide. That's the key. Doesn't have to bounce back up. So he might have slowed down a little bit, but did not have to regain his balance and on into third base. Massive jump he got.
Yes, indeed. And it might not be a big deal now that there are 2 outs, but let's see what Orlando does sitting on a 2-2 pitch. No runs and a hit, and a Pirate left at third. On Prime Sports through 5.5 innings. The Cardinals 2, the Pirates nothing. Bottom of the 6th inning, pitcher Donovan Osborne to lead off. Let me ask you a question I asked of Bob Walker earlier. Who's your all-time favorite center fielder?
All-time center fielder, Willie Mays.
Okay.
Well, Willie Mays tied with Mickey Mantle from the after further review. Run 2 names out.
Bob Walker said Andy Van Slyke in light of the work.
Was he at Andy's house too?
No, I don't believe so.
I mean, if the guy puts you up for a night, you got to put him on the list.
0-2 on Osborne. And it is strike 3. Neagle picks up strikeout number 4.
How about yourself?
I would say Mickey Mantle. I was mentioning also that the late Pirate president Carl Barger was a big fan of Joe DiMaggio, as is our good friend Joe Facenda from Giant Eagle. How we got talking about center fielders. John Wehner has an opportunity to play center field in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
And let us not forget Bill Verdon, who is here in the ballpark. Bill always comes over to Busch Stadium to St. Louis to see the Pirates, and there's occasions when Bill's not been a regular member of Jim Leyland's coaching staff.
He was one fine center fielder too. And I asked Bill Verdon about John Wehner playing center field, and asked him how much he had had a chance to work with John in spring training this year and last year. And he said a good bit. And he said there's nobody that works any harder than John Wehner. And boy, that's all you got to be for Bill Verdon. If you're a hard worker, you can get along with Bill Verdon real easy.
Well, Bob mentioned on the radio side, too, that Andy and John Wehner had a discussion about the art of playing center field earlier today. Andy's spending some time in the Pirate clubhouse.
John was telling me that he plays a little mind game during the batting practice. He'll take fly balls off his teammates' bats, and he'll set up where he thinks they're going to hit. In other words, if Jay Bell's taking batting practice, he's going to go out there and position himself where he thinks Jay Bell would hit. And that's kind of a mind game he plays to help him get in kind of a game frame of mind. And he said the more fly balls he takes during batting practice, the more comfortable, the more confident he gets as a center fielder. Seems to be enjoying it out there.
3 balls, 1 strike on Royce Clayton, who singled in the Cardinals' first run on the 3rd.
The question about center fielders, when you ask that and Mickey Mantle's name comes up, I immediately think of my dad, because there was never a center fielder other than Joe DiMaggio. That was it.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Clayton. I want to mention that when we televise on Sunday on WPXI, we'll have for you early on our telecast a special interview we taped today with Jay Bell and Ozzie Smith. Our telecast begins at 2 o'clock on Channel 11 on Sunday.
Well, that should be enjoyable. The Wizard and Mr. B, Jay Bell.
3-2 pitch to Hopper to Bell. And there are 2 outs. The Pirates will host the Cardinals for 2 more series. Even though we're done here in St. Louis after Sunday, the Redbirds have not come into Pittsburgh yet. And that means you have 6 more opportunities to see the Cardinals in Pittsburgh this year, and a chance to see Ozzie Smith play. July 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then the final 2 home games of the year are against St. Louis, September 24th, 25th. Call 321-BUCKS or 1-800-BUY-BUCKS.
I don't think Matty Alou would be on my list of most impressive center fielders. Once threw a pitch in Wrigley Field, and Matty had the glove off and was practicing his batting stance.
You're serious?
I am dead serious.
Now, how did you react to that? Were you miffed?
I was a little bit taken aback, but I had been in situations where Hebner had been over talking to young girls at the third baseline when I'd had a 2-1 count on people, so it wasn't the first time. But it's surprising when you look back and your center fielder has got his glove on the ground and he's trying to get his swing back out there, and you've already thrown a pitch to somebody in the Cubs who aren't that easy to pitch to. And with 2 outfielders, it makes it more difficult.
But you've avoided my question now. Did you go to Matty after that and tell him that you were not pleased with his lack of preparedness? Or?
No. I was too good of friends with Matty Lou. Hey, Matty wants to work on a swing out there. Probably will help me out later at some point, so I never said a word to him. I liked him a lot. Matty Lou's a good guy. I like his brother Felipe a lot, and Felipe was a tough adversary. Matty Lou came over to play center field for us, and just a delightful guy. If you want a personality match, think of Rafael Belliard. That's kind of how Matty Lou
is that right? Okay,
yeah.
Good. That helps many of us out with that. And Langford, though he was behind in the count 1-2, worked the situation to 3-2, and then Langford draws the walk.
Both of these pitchers known for their good control. Both have walked just 1 in this ball game. It is moving along with the Cardinals. Just a small lead, 2-0, but it's looking bigger and bigger as Osborne continues to work well. And take a look at the numbers so far for Denny Neagle.
"21 consecutive games for the Pirates against National League Central Division foes. 7 against St. Louis during this period, 6 against the Cubs, 8 against the Reds. And Jim Leyland's team finds itself 3 games back of the Astros in the National League Central. Gas drive to left field. Caught by Al Martin. We've played 6 innings on Prime Sports. The scoreboard has it St. Louis in front of our Pirates 2-0. The Pirates trail the Cardinals 2-0. Charlie Hayes, John Wehner, and Jay Bell against the left-hander Donovan Osborne.
cool water on the head after 6 innings of work. Does that feel good? And I don't know if they still do it, but on hot days when I was pitching a lot of years ago, you'd come in after 6 innings in the heat, and they had a big bucket of what they called Florida water, just like ammonia in water, and they would have cold towels and ice in there. The ball's popped up the right field. Brian Jordan probably will make that catch, and does. And you come in, and they take that towel out and put it on your head. You would tell them where they hid the oil, hid the gold, where the troops are, anything that they wanted to know. It felt so good. Denny Neagle just using the towel now, but that cold ice towel between innings was your friend.
John Lieber starting to warm up in the bullpen, approaching the bottom part of the Pirate batting order. Each team has 4 hits. Foul ball into the seats, out of play. What a beautiful night in St. Louis. Bright, near full moon hanging over the ballpark.
But we won't show it to you tomorrow night because we got day baseball on Saturday.
Oh, yes. No television tomorrow. We'll join you on the Pirates radio network with our pregame show at 1:50. And then Sunday's game televised by Channel 11 WPXI. No balls, 2 strikes. I want to take a moment here and send along best wishes to our good friend Lou Zona, who is celebrating her birthday today. Lou is one of the head honchos of the Pirate Fanatics in Youngstown, and is also a big deal at the Butler Art Institute in Youngstown, Ohio.
It's an annual stop on our caravan.
John Mercurio, our coordinating producer, was up to visit Lou Zona on Wednesday. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I believe they went up, John went up with Paul Tennell. The Pirate Fanatics heard about the Pirate scouting process. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Probably a little information about Chris Benson delivered.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Also, Jason Christensen wants us to send along his congratulations to his sister Jennifer, who was married today in Elkhorn, Nebraska.
Congratulations.
And Jason's sister married. There's a 2-2 pitch, ground ball to the right side. And Wayne is retired 2 away. Jason's sister, Jenny, married Brian Gregert, who was drafted in the NFL draft recently. And where's my list here? I forgot the name of the team. Here it is. Drafted by the Buccos in the 7th round. He's a punter out of the University of Wyoming. Jason has 2 sisters. Bouncer to the mound. Osborne makes the play, and Jay Bell is retired. A 1-2-3 inning for Donovan Osborne. The left-hander of the Cardinals has pitched a 4-hit shutout through 7. 7th inning stretch time at Busch Stadium, brought to you by Ladbroke. Racing's only half the fun. More Pirate baseball on Prime Sports in a moment. Paul Wagner has rejoined the ball club after spending a few days in Bradenton, Florida. 3 innings for Paul yesterday, though he had hoped to pitch 5 innings or 65 pitches. And Paul will work tomorrow, and then we'll know more about Wagner's next start. It could be Tuesday against the Chicago Cubs.
And what a nice fit that would be to add to the current big 3 of Neagle, Darwin, and Smith. Add Paul Wagner to that mix. Get 4 in the rotation you can count on.
Gaetti has been struggling at the plate of late. 2-0 Redbirds. 1 ball, 1 strike. Colorado leads Los Angeles 2-0 in the 3rd inning tonight. The Dodgers 0-3 since Tommy Lasorda checked into a Los Angeles hospital. The Mets 6, Houston 2 in the 6th inning. And Florida now leads Atlanta 2-0 in the 8th. Reds 6, Cubs 4 in the 8th inning. Reggie Sanders has hit 2 home runs for the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds have won 5 in a row, 8 of their last 10. The Reds have been playing better baseball since Mark Schott was suspended. Gaetti looks at a pitch on the inside corner, 1 away.
You know, the Tommy Lasorda situation, at first they thought it was an ulcer and then a mild heart attack, and they've done some angioplasty. We're hoping that Tommy bounces back in uniform soon for the Dodgers. Gaetti is rung up. Not real happy. That's all.
They've announced that Tommy Lasorda and Jim Fregosi will be Bobby Cox's, have been named as 2 of Bobby Cox's coaches for the All-Star game. Tommy Lasorda originally from the Philadelphia area. Brian Jordan singled in the 5th inning. Foul ball back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Recapping the scoring in the 3rd inning. After 1 out, David Bell singled. Osborne put down a sacrifice bunt. Clayton's 2-out single knocked in David Bell. And then in the 5th inning, after 2 outs, John Mayberry homered. Mabry's 7th home run of the year. Probably the last inning for Neagle. Denny's due up 2nd in the 8th.
You know, Lanny, you know Jim Leyland so very well. It almost seemed like a much more comfortable atmosphere for Leyland to catch up with his good buddy Tony La Russa compared to that first trip in here when everybody wanted a piece of their time. They never had a moment together, it seemed like, once they got in the uniform. But watching them tonight before the ball game seemed like they had a nice visit and had some time to themselves and back at home plate for a change.
Fastball is high, 3-2. The skipper's mad at me.
Beat him in golf yesterday?
No, I did that, but the reason he's mad at me is that when I did the Jay Bell Ozzie Smith interview, I ran over a minute, and so Jay was a minute late getting onto the field for batting practice.
I see.
Brian Jordan strikes out on a high fastball, 2 outs.
Denny Neagle maybe trying to do some sales work to stay in the ball game, although when you're trailing 2-0 this late, going to the 8th inning doesn't have all that much to do with how you're pitching anymore. Just that the Pirates are going to try to probably get some offense going.
Tom Pagnozzi has grounded out twice. Ball 1. Philadelphia leads Montreal 6-3 in the 7th inning. Terry Mulholland was the Philly starter. J.R. Phillips has hit 2 home runs. 2 balls, no strikes. Talked about Jason Christensen asking us to send along best wishes to his sister today, and Jason is warming up in the bullpen alongside John Lieber. Jason Christensen will be married December 14th of this year. I asked Jason today why he was not at his sister's wedding. He said, I didn't even ask.
Let's throw back the old-time days of baseball. When you stay with a ball club, pretty much no matter what happened, unless there was a real serious illness or death in the family.
Now 3-1. Good off-speed pitch. Pagnozzi misses it. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Neagle has done good work. 2 innings or 2 runs given up, and looking for the 3rd out here in the 7th. That would be very much the quality start.
And the 3rd out has been found, lying in the glove of Orlando Merced. Through 7 innings, the Cardinals 2 and the Pirates nothing on Prime Sports. Top of the 8th inning, the Pirates trail Donovan Osborne of the Cardinals 2-0. Jason Kendall will lead off. Then we'll see a pinch hitter for Denny Neagle. Right now, Nelson Luriano's in the on-deck circle. Loretta DeGennaro of Washington, Pennsylvania, the 3rd Giant Eagle contestant of the night. Kendall's fly ball headed for the right field corner. And the ball is off the wall. Jason's got a chance for 3. And Kendall does get into third base. That's a great start for the Pirates in the 8th inning.
And Jordan took the risk. Brian Jordan tried to track it down, but it hit high off the wall. At first look, the bounce back toward the infield. Brian didn't bounce that far, and Jason had time to get around for 3. Here's how it starts. And Jordan making the attempt. He's going to jump. Kind of overruns it just a little bit. He gets hung up on the wall, and you see the ball bounce away. Almost got to it. A good try, but the Bucks in business.
Nelson Liriano back with the runner at third base. Tony La Russa playing his middle infielders back. Good swing by Nelson. Strike 1. Liriano, who earlier this year had said he was going to give up batting from the right side. That was not the case.
Honeycutt and Mark Petkaiser, left-hander and right-hander respectively, warming up for St. Louis.
Third baseman Gaetti even with the base, so is first baseman Mabry. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-0 Cardinals. There's the Redbirds bullpen out down the left center field fence. Ground ball. This will score a run. Kendall comes home on the Liriano ground out, and the Cardinals lead is 2-1.
Well, the Cardinals are playing back, willing to trade an out for a run. That's exactly what happens. It is cleaned up, but the Bucks are on the board, and now everybody that comes up represents the tying run. Well, good work by the pinch hitters continues. Not a base hit, but an RBI by the Bucks off the bench.
Carlos Garcia had hit Osborne well in previous games, but tonight Carlos is 0 for 3. One ball, 1 strike.
It is amazing how you can become conditioned in this ball game. For the last 20 minutes before this inning started, I was looking down the right field line to see if they had any activity in their bullpen. It is no longer there. Their bullpen is out in back of the left center field wall, and I said, well, they really got a lot of faith in Donovan, and they should. He's pitching a shutout. That's by the boards, but activity was going on.
Osborne due up third in the bottom of the 8th inning. There's Pitkazik alongside Honeycutt. That's where the Redbirds bullpen used to be, right up along the first base right field line.
They've changed a lot of things here at Busch Stadium, including moving the bullpens from down each line to and back of left field. There, take a look at the new home of the relief pitchers for St. Louis, and the Bucks just to the left of that.
Second baseman David Bell was positioned perfectly. 2 outs.
Keep in mind, although you see the veteran Rick Honeycutt and Mark Petkaiser, the main man in their bullpen, still Dennis Eckersley with 11 saves. But we are in the 8th now. That roster, active roster out there throwing might change when we get to the 9th.
Martin singled off Osborne in the 6th inning. 2-1 St. Louis. One ball, 1 strike. Jeff King is on deck.
Osborne still has the good breaking ball. Works against Al Martin on that pitch. You know, the 3 wins on this road trip have not come easy, and so not looking easy for the Bucks tonight, but they're still in range.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Pirates winning 2 out of 3 in Miami, losing 2 of 3 in Montreal. Darwin picked up the win Wednesday night. Bucks won 3-1. Osborne running that pitch up and in. The Pirates score 1 run for Loretta DeGennaro of Washington, Pennsylvania. 2 tickets to an upcoming Pirate home game. Liriano picks up the RBI, middle of the 8th inning. On the Pirates won after 7.5 innings. Denny Neagle pitched the first 7, and now Jim Leyland calls on Dan Plesac.
Picked him on for the 36th time, 3-1 with 3 saves for Dan. And he really has been doing a good job lately for the Bucks, pitching very well. Neagle, 7 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits. He walked 1, struck out 6, 98 pitches. So very good work for Denny Neagle. He just ran into Donovan Osborne. That's the only thing he did wrong. He pitched on the wrong night.
John Mabry's home run right now the difference in the game. And it would be a 3-1 score now were it not for the fine throw of John Wehner. Brian Jordan stole second base in the 5th inning. Kendall's throw went out to center, and Wehner with a perfect throw to third base to Hayes to get Jordan. And it was right after that out of Jordan at third base that Mabry homered.
Well, the Cardinals bat here in the bottom of the 8th. It is Dennis Eckersley who is starting to loosen up for the Cardinals in their bullpen. Dennis 0-5 in terms of wins and losses, but with 11 saves. There is big-time Major League fastball in a great spot. This one's worth another look. That is right there. Dan Plesac knows it. That's pretty good follow through. That body language tells you all you need to know about the pitch.
Plesac in his 2nd year with the Pirates. Dan had immediate success when he came up to the big league. In his first 5 years in the American League, he had 124 total saves in the late 80s. Base hit by David Bell. Bell singled and scored in the 3rd. Gets the 1-out single in the 8th inning, and Willie McGee will be the pinch hitter for Donovan Osborne.
Well, little things get your attention, Lenny. The first pitch that Dan Plesac threw to David Bell was a curveball that I thought was a strike. And Dan kind of asked the home plate rookie umpire, Paul Nauert, where that pitch was. If he gets a strike, you wonder if that changes anything in the sequence of the at-bat. And it's, you know, it's nothing you can do about it. But every once in a while, something like that gets your attention, especially when the guy gets a base hit on the next pitch. Nice welcome for Willie McGee here by the St. Louis Cardinal fans.
One on, one out, 8th inning. St. Louis 2, the Pirates 1. Pirate infield a double play depth up the middle. Third baseman Charlie Hayes playing even with third base. Now 2-0 after the strikeout of Mabry. Bell singled. Both Leyland and Miller go through the signs on different days. One is live, the other is just going through the motions. 3 balls, no strikes. On deck is Royce Clayton. 1-run ball game.
John Lieber continues to throw in the Pirates bullpen.
Now 3-1. Kendall looks into the dugout, has the sign, and something's up here. Step off or a throw to first. And it's a step off. One on and one out. Fly ball, right field. Orlando's got to throw to first base, and Bell just does get back. David Bell was rather casual at his return to first base, and Orlando thought it was worth a shot. 2 outs. Go to the top of the order for Royce Clayton.
Another look. Breaking ball. It's popped up to right field. You can see how far Bell is off first base. Orlando sees he has at least a shot. Gives it a run.
2 outs, 8th inning, in the Pirate 9th. King, Merced, and Hayes are due up. Hitters 3, 4, and 5 against the bullpen of the Cardinals. Clayton showing bunt, takes ball 1. Tommy Reynolds, the third base coach for Tony La Russa. Final score in from Miami. The Marlins beat Tommy Glavine and the Atlanta Braves 2-0.
Is that the Al Leiter start? Not surprising. That was impressive watching Kevin Brown and Al Leiter work back to back for the Marlins.
1 ball and 1 strike. Clayton knocked in the Cardinals' first run in the 3rd inning. Bell does not have a stolen base, but he's been getting the attention of the left-hander Plesac, who moved to first, ordered by the dugout. And 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Cardinals have stolen 2 bases tonight. Clayton in the 3rd, Jordan in the 5th, and then Jordan tried to go to 3rd as Kendall's throwing out into center field, and Waiter, the Pirate center fielder, got the ball to Charlie Hayes in time to retire Jordan at 3rd. So that was a very important out of the 5th inning. 3rd straight game for John in center field. Plesac wanted the call, didn't get it. 2-2.
He's wanted a couple of them. That curve ball that came on the pitch before David Bell got the base hit, he wanted also. Paul Nauert, umpiring back at home plate.
Three and 2. On deck is Ray Langford. Two 1 Cardinals. 2 outs. Runner at first base. David Bell is on the move. And he'll be brought back to first base. The foul ball by Clayton into the seats.
Orlando Denny, the Pirates are going to see a lot of the St. Louis Cardinals. The 3 games here this weekend and then 4 games next weekend. We certainly hope the fans come out to see the Bucks and Cardinals. Boy, I thought this game was really important for a couple of reasons. First of all, it gets you a notch closer to the Cardinals. But now, if you are able to win tonight and the Pirates have one more shot, then the worst that can happen, you can lose a ball game. You can in the standings.
Runner goes. Ball off the glove of Plesac. Clayton is on.
And that ball just bounced far enough in back of Dan Plesac where there's no chance for the Pirate pitcher to make a play. Same thing for Jay Bell. And just off the glove, almost looked like Dan was trying to get the glove where he thought the ball was going to be and didn't quite get the right spot. But the point I'm making, if you win the first game of this series, in the worst case scenario, you could lose a game to the Cardinals. But a tough start so far, and the Bucks going to have one more chance to get off on that good foot.
This will probably be, one way or another, the last batter for Plesac to face. Ball gets away on a swing and a miss. And the runners move up. Bell to third and Clayton to second. That is a wild pitch.
Yeah, you can see the bounce, even though Langford swung at it. Ball bounced well out in front of Jason Kendall.
2 Cardinals in scoring position, 2 outs in the 8th. It's a 1-run Cardinal lead. Now after the left-handed batter Langford comes the right-handed hitters Gant, Gaetti, Jordan, and Pagnazzi. Oh, that's trouble. Langford shot to left center field, drives in Bell and Clayton. Langford's on his way to third. The relay from Jay Bell. It is late, and the Cardinals lead 4-1.
Right in the gap in left center field where the Pirates were giving Langford all kind of room, and that's exactly where he hit it. 2-run triple, and with that, Jim Leyland will make the trip to the mound, and he will make a pitching change. There you can see nobody even in the screen until John Wayner can run the ball down and get it back into Jay Bell.
Plesac facing 5 batters, retiring 2 of them. And the Cardinals lead 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning, with right-hander John Lieber coming into the game as the 3rd Pirate pitcher. And we'll have more coming your way on Prime Sports in just a moment. John Lieber's getting ready. A reminder, after tonight's game, stay tuned for Talking Bucks Live. Then at 11:30, catch the latest scores and highlights on Press Box. Tonight featuring uncovered rumors in the world of professional sports. Press Box goes inside to reveal information you won't get anywhere else.
And Leyland makes a pitching change, and it will be John Lieber. For John, it will be his 31st appearance, 1-2 with a 4.12 ERA, and 1 save to his credit. Neagle, Plesac, and now John Lieber. See the good control numbers for John Lieber. Just 4 walks this year.
Ron Gant, 0 for 3. Runner at third base, Jordan. 2 runs in, 4-1 St. Louis. Dan Plesac came very close to striking out Royce Clayton. That would have ended the inning, but a close pitch was called a ball, and Clayton got an infield single off the glove of Plesac, and then Langford followed with the 2-run triple.
Gant trying to add 2 more runs with that swing.
Runner at third base, the 1-2 pitch. Hit well by Gant down the line. It is a 2-run homer for Ron Gant inside the foul pole, and the Cardinals have a 5-run advantage. They lead it 6-1.
Gant took a shot at a home run with the previous pitch. He does it again, and this time it works. And it's a bust out bottom of the 8th inning, and the Cardinals have blown it open. So they make the noise in the first game of this series. They make it late, but it is loud. Here it is, a fastball right in that zone, kind of up, kind of in, and kind of out of here. Just a matter of fair or foul.
Gaetti takes ball 1. One ball and 1 strike. Swing and a miss. Looked like they were looking at Ron Gant's bat handle. Very strong player.
Boy, the home run ball continues to haunt John Weber. That's 9 he's given up in his 31 appearances.
I guess that's somewhat understandable in that John is always around the plate.
Maybe a little too true.
Doesn't have overpowering stuff. Not going to scare too many hitters. Gaetti strikes out. The Cardinals get 4 runs. Langford knocks in 2 with a triple. Gant hits a 2-run homer. And St. Louis will carry a 6-1 lead into the 9th inning on Prime Sports. Much work to be done. St. Louis scores 4 in the bottom of the 8th to lead the Pirates 6-1. In the 9th inning, the Pirates will have hitters 3, 4, and 5 coming up. King, Merced, and Hayes.
And the very familiar look of Dennis Eckersley. He'll come in to try to finish it off for the Cardinals. Eck 0-5, as we mentioned, no wins but 11 saves in his 24 appearances, and he also has racked up 24 strikeouts in 26 innings.
Well, this game tonight is an awful lot like the game we witnessed here at Busch Stadium April 17th. Donovan Osborne was the starter that day against Danny Darwin. The Cardinals had a 2-1 lead going into the bottom of the 8th inning and scored 4 to carry a 6-1 lead into the 9th. And Dennis Eckersley pitched a 1-2-3 9th and did not qualify for a save. That's exactly what's happened today. Eckersley does not qualify for a save as he pitches this 9th inning because the Redbirds scored 2 too many runs. Hitters 3, 4, and 5, King, Merced, and Hayes, are a combined 0 for 8. 0 for 9.
Dennis Eckersley, 330 lifetime saves, 4th on the all-time list.
By the way, in case you thought I was being presumptuous, even if that ball's dropped in right field, it's an error, and he's still 0 for 9. Jeff is 0 for 4, and those 3, 4, and 5 hitters 0 for 9. Orlando has not put the ball in play yet tonight. He has struck out twice and walked once. Elmer descends against Andy Benes tomorrow. Join us on the radio network, beginning with a pregame show at 1:50, and then Sunday's game is on WPXI Channel 11. Airtime on Sunday is 2 o'clock Eastern. And we'll have a special interview with Jay Bill and Ozzie Smith on Sunday. St. Smith against Todd Stottlemyre in the Sunday game.
We showed you the good control numbers of John Lieber. If you think those are good, well, Dennis Eckersley in his 24 appearances has just walked 3 batters in 26 innings.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 6-1 St. Louis. Pagnozzi calling for the fastball away. The pitch was in and driven by Merced to the corner. A fair ball. Orlando digs for second as Jordan digs the ball out of the corner.
There, Orlando put the ball in play and did it very nicely. Second ball out in that neighborhood. Jason Kendall had the triple to lead off the top of the 8th and came around to score the only Pirate run. There's a fastball that is up, and also with Eckersley, the fastball will run away from a left-hand batter, so running out into that good hitting zone upstairs, and Orlando caught up to it.
(6-1) St. Louis. Charlie Hayes 0 for 3. And just 2 for 26 on the road trip. Mike Kingery's in the on-deck circle. He'll bat for John Wehner. Jim has 3 left-handed bats available on the bench: Kingery, Clark, and Johnson. Clayton throws out Hayes. Merced remains at second.
A long time ago, we used to see Dennis Eckersley as a starter. A lot of years ago, time with the Chicago Cubs, Cleveland Indians. He got out to Oakland, got in the bullpen, and it's been a great run for Dennis Eckersley for a lot of years.
Final score from Cincinnati: the Reds beat the Cubs 7-4, and the Reds have won 6 in a row. Kingery pinch hitting. Foul ball, strike 1. In the 8th inning in the Astrodome, the Mets lead the Astros 6-2. If the Astros lose and the Cardinals win, first place tie again.
Now, do I have it right? We have a bet with the Cincinnati Reds and the New York Mets.
No, St. Louis Cardinals and New York Mets.
Who do I have?
You have New York.
Okay. Thought I might be able to pull a little deal there. I'm gonna have to write that down. Keep track of it. I keep switching to a team that's hot.
Fly ball to left, hit by Kingery, and Gant makes the play. Donovan Osborne gets the win, and the St. Louis Cardinals even their record at 39-39. Final score: St. Louis 6, the Pirates 1. We'll have more coming your way on Prime Sports in a moment. 6-1, St. Louis wins it. The Cardinals scored 4 big runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. A 2-run triple from Ray Lankford and a 2-run homer hit by Ron Gant. And Steve, this really was the type of game we expected it to be. 2 quality left-handers matched up, Osborne and Neagle, and both starters pitched well.
Yeah, the thing is, the 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th, though, frosting on the cake. Donovan Osborne was that good, and just a kind of a simple case of the Pirates not being able to do much with a quality left-hander on a night that he was on, and he just really ran through the first 7 innings very comfortably. I was very impressed with what he did. He walked 1 batter Not a lot of strikeouts. He did wind up with, 5 strikeouts, but he was quite impressive, and you had that sense that he was kind of in control of the ball game. So one of those nights where the Pirates didn't look like they're going to get too much done offensively.
The Cardinals scored the game's first run after 2 outs in the third. Royce Clayton single driving in David Bell, and then a home run by Mabry in the 5th inning to make it 2-0 St. Louis. Jason Kendall had a leadoff triple in the 8th, scored on Liriano's ground out, and then the 4-run St. Louis 8th inning.
Yeah, one of the things that occurred to you in a ball game like this, the Pirates have a 3-man rotation basically, and what you hate to do is waste when one of those guys really does a good job. Denny Neagle pitched good enough to win a lot of ball games, 7 innings, just 2 runs given up. So when you are working with a 3-man rotation, in effect, the Pirates are still looking for a good 4th or 5th man. When one of these 3 guys that you've been counting on that have been doing the job come up big, like Denny did tonight, you hate to waste that performance. But again, you can't write your script, and you got to kind of tip your cap to Donovan Osborne.
Well, let's see if we've got it right now. Checking the standings in the National League Central. If the Astros lose tonight, St. Louis and Houston would be tied for first place. The Cubs lose, they'd stay 2 games back. The Reds would move into 3rd place because they'd be a game and a half out. This is assuming the Astros lose, and the Pirates would stay 3 games back.
Yeah, so we've spun our wheels a little bit, but they've changed partners up at the top of the dance.
The final score, the St. Louis Cardinals 6 and the Pirates 1, and there'll be one more song before they turn out the lights here in the St. Louis ballroom. Here are the final totals. St. Louis 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and they left 1 man on base. The Pirates 1 run, 6 hits, no errors, and 5 stranded. The St. Louis Cardinals record is 39-39. The Pirates are 36-42. The winning pitcher, Donovan Osborne, 7-4. Neagle is the loser, 8-4. Denny pitched 7 innings, allowed just 2 runs on 4 hits. Time of the game, 2 hours and 23 minutes. The paid attendance, 34,490. John Mabry and Ron Gant hit home runs for the Cardinals. And for the Pirates, Jason Kendall had 2 hits, a single in the 5th inning, and Jason tripled and scored in the 8th. That wraps up our Prime Sports telecast from St. Louis tonight. The executive producer of Pirates Baseball on Prime Sports is Gil Lucas. Tonight's game produced and directed by Dennis Galloway. Associate producer Mark Vidonic. The Vice President of Broadcasting for the Pittsburgh Pirates is Mark Driscoll. Coordinating producer Ann Donahue. Remote facilities provided by Unitel Mobile Video. Statistical information provided by Stance Incorporated and Interactive Sports Television. Our next telecast of Pirates baseball on Prime Sports will be Monday as the Pirates host the Chicago Cubs. Airtime 7:25 for Steve's pregame show. The Bucs will be on the air tomorrow on the radio network against the Cardinals. Airtime for the pregame show tomorrow is 1:50, and then on WPXI on Sunday. Stay tuned now for Talking Bucs with Guy Junker and Ron Cook. Final score, Cardinals 6, Pirates 1. Good night from St. Louis.